Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope everybody's having a wonderful day, you sexy bitches. So this morning, I woke up this morning and I thought about authenticity. I thought about being real. I thought about what it means to be the real you. And it becomes really difficult for people to admit their flaws. It becomes very difficult for people to admit their wrongdoings and stuff like that. And then it makes me think to myself, am I being authentic with myself? I listened to this podcast episode not too long ago on new discourses. It is a podcast episode and a website operated by the one of the members of the intellectual dark web, James Lindsey, Helen Pluckrose, Peter Boghossian, stuff like that. And he released an episode called Authenticity and the Woke Crisis of the Real. And we can debate about what is real, what is fake, and stuff like that. But as an individual, he's talking about the individual self. He's talking about you. He's talking about yourself. And what do you think about yourself? The persona that we put across out into the world, and who we are really inside. And a lot of people, they don't want to admit who they are. They want to conceal what they think. They want to hide what they feel because they're afraid that they're going to get rejected. So I understand this ideas of rejection, because I've been rejected so many times. I don't even have a tribe of my own. I've always been a person who likes to explore different aspects of reality. I really want to understand where people are coming from, because I want to put myself in their position to see where they're coming from. And that's my authentic self. And that's the reason why I've never been radicalized. Is because I'm real. I know that comes off kind of narcissistic. That comes off as a prick. But I like that. You know what I mean? I've had a hard time being friends with people. And it's okay. It's okay to admit that as well. And it's not because I'm a person that's hard to get along with. It's the fact that I can easily call out your bullshit when I see it. But majority of the time, I sit back, I relax, and I watch your fucking train wreck. And that's what I do. If I really truly do care about you, then I'll stop you in your tracks and try to correct you. And that's what friends do. So anyways, he talks about authenticity. And this is episode 32. You guys could go and play it on YouTube. Just go to New Discourses on YouTube and type Authenticity and the Woke Crisis. And I'm not going to play it, but I'm going to attach a video after this of Gary Vee talking about being real. So you guys understand the summarization of this episode. But he summarized it right here, Mr. Lindsay. He summarized it. He said, wokeness exists in a crisis of authenticity. This is no surprise, since both of its main philosophical predecessors, neo-Marxist critical theory and postmodernism, are both their own forms of reaction to a perceived crisis of authenticity in the world. So pretty much with the postmodernists and the Marxists, they don't see reality like everybody else. Human nature. Where is it? For the postmodernists, the real is remote, inaccessible, and stimulated. Meaning is infinitely deferred. Authenticity, which is to say being who you are when you're not attempting to be anyone, is passe, and embarrassing. Even as we crave so much that the world itself needs to be done away with it. And I'm sorry, I'm reading too fast. It's so much that the world itself needs to be done away and replaced with raw experience. In critical theory, nothing is authentic because a consumer society has already commodified, marketed, and sold to us as a good life that doesn't exist and controls us. So I'm gonna agree with this for a little bit. So I totally understand what we're critical. I'm gonna argue in favor a little bit for the critical theory, that the society that we live in is a consumer-based society. So we are told that, if you wear this cologne let's talk about Axe. So Axe body spray, when it came out in the early 2000s, they said something along the line. The commercial was like, if you spray it, there's a lot of bitches gonna be around you and they're gonna be in love with you. But that's inauthentic. It's not real. It's not reality. So I understand what the theorists are saying at in this aspect, because we if you read Herbert Marcuse's One Dimensional Man, he talks about this, and he goes in details about this. But from my observation, this is my perspective, this is my opinion, it's not fact. The world that we live in is a very consumer based society. You have to like catch up with the latest goods, the latest technology, the latest, you have to drive your nice car. A lot of people look at the way you dress, your shoes and stuff like that. So it established, or it gave birth to a bunch of people who are afraid to be who they are because they feel like they're going to be judged. You see this in Instagram, you see this on Facebook, you see this on Twitter. And I think this is the reason why I never became popular and nobody gave a shit what I say, is because I'm too authentic. Meaning that I'm very blunt, I'm really direct, I'm very in your face if I need to. I'm not in your face, meaning like I'm ghetto and shit and I'm like, what'd you say about me? What'd you say about my mama? I'm not like that. I am the type of person who will confront you and call you out on your bullshit when I see it. And it's rare. You guys have to remember that. It's really rare for me to do that. And if I do it, it means that I care about you and I really want you to succeed in your development. That's why I'm correcting your behavior. If I don't like you, if I don't care about you, then I wouldn't say anything to you. You know what I mean? But anyways, back to the article. Let me see. Wokeness inherits all of this cynical legacy and generates inauthentic identities doing inauthentic scholarship. I'm right here. To achieve inauthentic political goals. In this sense, inauthenticity is a form of kryptonite against wokeness, because wokeness can't abide or manipulate the authentic. Its deconstruction has no power over the truly and comfortably real. But what is authenticity, and how can you be more authentic? So he, like I said, if you guys look up this this episode on New Discourse's YouTube channel, James Lindsey, he broke everything down, especially near the end. I'm not going to play this, but and like I said, I'm gonna attach a Gary Vee video that pretty much summarizes it in layman's term for you guys. So it's very difficult for an authentic people to be radicalized. And the reason why I say this, because of the fact that if you understand the world as is, you understand history, you educate yourself on, you read a lot of books, you are knowledgeable about things. That's why I recommend a lot of people. That's why I always say, I mean, you guys don't know this, I watch at least one documentary a day. All the information is there for us in this domain. And the YouTube is a wormhole, or you have multiple choices. Like you're in a supermarket and there's so many documentaries up on the shelves that you can choose, because you have that choice to choose what you want to watch. If you want to educate yourself about fascism, there's documentaries about fascism. If you want to educate yourself on Karl Marx, there's documentaries on Karl Marx. There's even a very good documentary on Herbert Marcuse on YouTube that's fucking excellent, because it gives you an idea of who he is. I mean, of course, we can be angry at the culture theorists. I mean, the culture Marxists, the neo-culture Marxists. We can be angry at them, but at the same time, we have to give them a chance to explain their ideas, even if these ideas they're by dead people. So, if you look up a documentary, just type in Herbert Marcuse, and he explains to you his ideas right out in the open. And it's a very good documentary. I would say that the person that I really like reading is Herbert Marcuse from the neo-Marxists, because I understand where he's coming from as well. And so a lot of people can say, oh, well, he's trying to destroy society. But with me and myself, I like to give people chances. And I would like to educate myself on the subject matter before I even say something. You know what I mean? You can't claim something and hate that person without educating yourself on it. So this is probably a controversial thing that I'm going to say, because I have Jordan Peterson fan. But Jordan Peterson and Slavoj Zizek, if you guys watch the debate, Zizek knew that Dr. Peterson doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about when it comes to communism. But I think Dr. Peterson is coming from a psychological perspective. And that's the good part. But from an economic standpoint, no. I think that's where Dr. Peterson is weak. Zizek has been a communist all his life. And you know what? Even Zizek is one of my favorite Marxists. You know what I mean? Like, the dude is freaking hilarious. He's probably the only one that I could tolerate in Herbert Marcuse. I can't stand Richard Wolff. I can't stand Vosh. I can't stand any of these fucking so-called Marxists nowadays. But Herbert Marcuse and even Zizek, they genuinely, if people are authentic about their beliefs, meaning the Marxist stuff, if they are genuinely about what they believe, you can just tell that they are who they are. And they're not afraid to admit that. That's authenticity. Authenticity is when you admit that you stand by a political ideology, and you are passionate about it. I respect those people more than people like Vosh, who just want to fucking own right-wing people. You know what I mean? So being who you are and being able to, understand that the world is full of people trying to sense make. Does that make sense? You have people on the right that's trying to make sense. You have people on the left that's trying to make sense. You have people that are woke that's trying to make sense. But if you are real about yourself, you are in charge of the game, playa. Okay? The whole world right at the moment, it's like an entire video game. This whole reality that we're living in, it's a video game. And you are the player in this video game. What's your next step? Don't give a damn what the person's saying on your right. Don't give a damn about the person saying on your left. Don't give a damn about the person saying to your in front of you and behind you. It's you, fam. You're the one who needs to understand yourself. And then the more that you expose who you are and understand your vulnerabilities and understand that you are just a human being like everybody else, you will succeed. Does that make sense? And I'm not talking about succeed as in money, materialistic gain. I'm talking about you as an individual being happy. Okay? Being authentic makes you happy as well. Ever since I'm real about myself. Okay, so let me trash myself a little bit. So if you guys know this, is that I cannot stand sorry about that, guys. That was a notification that just popped up right now. I have ground news. Oh, and if you guys don't know that I read ground news, I don't get my information from Facebook or anything anymore. I get it from ground news. So that's why I've been kind of, when it comes to politics, I kind of lay low. But with me, I tend to go into things without doing the adequate research. I suck at researching. And sometimes I say things that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes I do things that doesn't make any sense. Sometimes I get angry for no reason, when I'm not right. And that's my fucking problem. And I ask myself, why am I afraid of being wrong? Oh yeah, they're challenging my fucking ego. And so I think about these things and I'm working myself. I'm working on myself and I'm constantly doing it. And the more that I do it, the more that I love myself even more. I'm sorry that came off as narcissistic. But the point is that I'm working on myself and I want to attract other podcasters like me, other content creators like me who just want to just have a conversation, discuss ideas and play with it. And that's the people that I want to be around with. And so how can I control my emotion? And how can I, understand myself a little bit more? And this is me. This is who I am. And I've accepted that because it's like, when you grew up around fascists, aka the Khmer Rouge, when you grew up around them, you have to be careful about what you say. You got to be careful what you do. My parents were damaged from the Khmer Rouge regime. They didn't want to be themselves. They want to hide who they are because of the fact that they were spied on and stuff like that. So they were careful about what they say. And so my parents did not come to the United States of America for me to be a bitch. Okay, to be a little bitch. My parents came here for me to be a badass bitch in a world full of bitches. Okay, so that's what I hit myself so much that now I'm exposing myself. And I lost a lot of friends over the years in less than a year. And I don't need that around my life. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that they were wrong. I'm not saying that I was wrong. I'm not saying they were right. I'm not saying I was right. People make decisions to cut people out of their lives. You know what I mean? If you are part of the woke crew, let's admit that. If you're a part of the woke crew and you see this bullshit about identity politics and stuff like that, you see critical race theory, hating people, hating men, hating whites and stuff like that, don't be afraid to call it out. I'm just going to tell you this right now. Don't be afraid to call it out. If you think that is wrong, say it. Because speech is the only thing that you have that is your strength. Money cannot buy free speech. Does that make sense? We fought wars. We had the American Revolution. We fought in World War I. We fought in World War II. Not necessarily about over freedom of speech and stuff like that in World War I or II. But if it wasn't for our us protecting our territory and stuff like that, when Japan bombed us, they fuck around, they found out, didn't they? You know what I mean? And that's the same thing. You know what I mean? If people are stepping in your territory, you know what I mean? I'm not telling you to bomb the fuck out of them or drop a nuke bomb on them or anything like that, but I'm telling you to use your words as a weapon to protect you and your tribe. You know what I mean? That's the only thing that you have is free speech. Why do you think the far left want to get rid of it? Because speech is the only thing that we have. Money cannot buy free speech. Okay? So I really hope you guys enjoy this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that like button. And if you don't like puppies. Okay? I'm just kidding. I do have a podcast called the Far Out Wisdom Podcast. Make sure you guys check that out on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and all that. And you guys can find all my information at faroutwisdom.podbean.com. You guys can check out the sponsor. You guys can check out my affiliate with Podbean. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you agree with what I'm trying to say. Not all of it. You can tell me to go fuck myself, but being authentic will defer you. I'm not saying defer. Put a barrier between you to. It will stop you from radicalization. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Love you, my sexy bitches. Bye.
What would you say to anyone who feels like they don't know who they are and is struggling to find what they're passionate about?
The reason most people don't know who they are is they haven't tried. The reason they haven't tried is they're worried what people are going to say. 99% of this hall is still in fucking high school. I would tell them to tell their mother to go fuck themselves. Or their father, or their sister, or their spouse, or their fucking miserable best friend that they need to start cutting out some of the time they spend with them. Cut out negativity. That's what I would tell them.
What would you say to anyone who feels